Can you share some of the numbers you've seen that are like the really huge numbers as far as contest entries goes?
So a couple of success things. So the Get the Fort, that example that I mentioned. So they ended up raising, after doing the pre-launch on KickOff Labs, they ended up raising $3 million on Kickstarter. So it wasn't a small Kickstarter campaign at all. I think they'd set their goal like 100,000 or something. So they had an ambitious goal, but they blew the goal out of the water.
And that's the company that still just does contests for their marketing.
Still just
today.
does contests for their marketing today. Yeah. And then we've seen people who are collecting, for typically like in a couple months span, it's pretty reasonable for like a 1 to 2 month campaign to get 10 to 20,000. So we see like the bottle company I talked about, they're also running competitions today. So like they got like 20,000 leads in their most recent contest that they ran. The racing example that I gave the last time, they got 14, the last competition that we tracked, they got 14,000 new leads. They got 35,000 new YouTube subscribers, and a third of those leads, so nearly over a third, so 6,000 of those leads came from the referral mechanism. So that KickOff Labs, like, here's your unique link, generate that, and share it with friends. And then obviously he was tracking thousands of dollars of purchases from the store afterwards, running the competition. And so those are some general like numbers that we've got.
Did you say 35,000 YouTube subscribers?
Added 35,000 YouTube subscribers. Yeah.
Just from having it as an additional entry.
I mean, you can't track exactly. Did it come? You can see that he got, like 10,000 or so took the step within KickOff Labs. It's hard to tell if they did it exactly from KickOff Labs or if they came back later and subscribed. But over the course of the competition, he was able to see the spike in YouTube followers. So, part of it was KickOff Labs. Part of it was he's releasing videos promoting the contest on YouTube, which are probably gaining additional subscribers, and those videos go trending, and then you get subscribers from doing it. So, but in net, he's attributing like, I ran this contest, I would have grown maybe 2,000 people over the time, and I grew 35,000 people over the time while doing the contest.
Even if 10,000 are tracked just coming from that additional entry step in KickOff Labs, that just tells the YouTube algorithm too, they really like the external traffic being sent to them. So that really helps just your channel overall. So it probably helped a lot of his videos trend.
Yeah, I'm not a YouTube expert. You probably know better than I do. So it's definitely like something I took away as like, wow, that's a really good follow on that happened during the competition.
And what about just an example of a small company that you've seen go from 0 to, however many followers? Just they started with a company that nearly had no marketing or audience to begin with, and by the end of it was just well underway.
Yeah. So smaller. So it's a little bit. So we had a guy launching a company called WellMedic. And their company, what they did was very specific. So if you imagine, like in the US, we have like doctors have to take your MCATs. There's a similar exam and process for doctors in the UK. And so they're trying to help sell like these study guides for people who are wanting to take that competition. They started with an audience of 0. So they put up an entry form where it was a competition that said, hey, if you enter, we're going to give you, just for entering, like a really quick cheat sheet to this test, like just like our basic guide to this test. And then as you share and increase, like as you share things, we're going to give you, if you get a certain number of points, you can come to the first, like a free webinar, like that we're going to do, where I'll walk you through this cheat sheet. And so in their first competition, they basically got 800 people to sign up and then take the step of sharing with a friend that qualified for their free webinar. They then hosted the free webinar and then did a sales pitch as part of the webinar to say like, hey, like, if you enjoyed this class, we've got a full length class you can buy for this amount of money. Half of the people that attended that webinar bought the full length class at a, it was a pretty big cost. I forget exactly what they were charging, but it wasn't a $50 purchase class. It was, you're talking about studying for your medical exam. So people were spending a good amount of money on having that complete guide to it. And since then, they've run that same mechanic several times. Like, you get the free guide for entering, the winners get access to this free class. And then as part of that, we're selling this paid thing. And they've now collected over 10,000 leads through KickOff Labs campaigns.